Hey guys, what's up? Thank you so much for joining me today. This is Philosophy. If you guys enjoy these videos, I would really appreciate it if you considered subscribing to the channel or giving this video a thumbs up. Now let's go ahead and jump right into the numbers. To recap from July 2022, my net worth was about $129,355. The equity that I have in the two condos that I own currently sits at $85,409. This is an increase from July of about $643. The balance in my DCPP, or Defined Contribution Pension Plan, which I hold at TD Bank, is currently sitting at a balance of $3,315. This is an increase from the previous month of about $23, so really not a lot of movement on that account. Next up is my RRSP, or my Registered Retirement Savings Plan, also held with TD. And what I am invested in that account is the TD series line in the US and the Canadian index funds. We're going to talk about that a little bit later in the video, so stick around for that. The balance of that account at the end of August 2022 is about $45,177. This is an increase from July of about $318. My TFSA currently sits at a balance of $370. If you haven't seen my previous videos, I do have one single stock in that account, and that is CMC. It is doing a little bit better than the previous month, so this account is up $50. My vehicle, which is valued at $5,000, is still on this list, although I think I'm actually going to officially list my car next month, so September. So I'm hoping I can get around $8,000 for it, because the used car market is really hot right now and it's in pretty good condition. I was the only owner of that car, so I'm hoping I can get a little bit more for it. So stay tuned for what happens once I sell that car. The balance of my line of credit is about $8,720. Of course, this is a negative amount, so the change in that from the previous month is a positive, which means I just made a payment to that account, and that increase was about $161. That brings our grand total net worth for August 2022 to $130,552. I'm so excited that my net worth has finally gone back over the $130,000 mark. This is an increase in my net worth from July 2022 of about $1,196. Those gains are coming from my mortgage payments that are going directly to the principal, which is included in my equity figures, and also a little bit of an uptick in the market. So it's really nice to see that my portfolio is starting to go back in the upwards trending direction. And that is it for the numbers. So now we're gonna jump into some life updates. The first thing I wanted to talk about is, if you guys watched my last update video, I spoke about not selling the two properties that I own in preparation for moving to New Zealand. So within the last few weeks, I did decide to put my mom's place up for sale. The reason I decided to put it up for sale is because my mom is planning on moving to the east coast of Canada, although she's not 100% sure if that's her plan now. But I did list the condo, and I actually do think it would be really beneficial for me to get at that equity money. And my plan for the equity, which should be around $30,000 to $35,000, depending on how much I end up selling that place for, that money is going to go into long-term investments, into index funds, or something else. We're gonna get into that later. But I did also want to use a portion of that equity to go to New Zealand, because the New Zealand trip, getting started and actually moving there, is gonna cost about $10,000. I also went ahead and went through my net worth really recently and figured out that my portfolio is 65% weighted in real estate. That means that only 35% of my net worth is actually invested. Really shocked that I had that much of my net worth tied up in property. And it's really not something that I wanted. So this is one of the major reasons why I am selling my mom's place, not only because she is planning on moving away, but because I really need access to that equity, and I don't want my net worth being so heavily weighted in real estate. I want to have more flexibility with my money and put some of that into long-term investments for retirement. So I'm hoping that I can at least break even on selling her place. If not, it's not a huge deal if I lose a few $1,000s. I just really want to get myself out of that particular property, but I will still be keeping the current condo I live in as far as I know at this moment in time. we all know life happens and things can change. So it's not 100%, but my current plan is to keep the place I own right now and live in now. While I'm in New Zealand, I'll be renting it out and managing it from abroad. The second thing I wanted to chat about is I got a new book from the library really recently. I've had it on hold. I've been waiting for it for months now, but it is Reboot Your Portfolio by Dan Bortolotti. And I believe that's how you say his name. Dan Bortolotti is the author of the Canadian Couch Potato blog. This is one of my biggest recommendations when you're getting started with investing. This is very specific to Canadians. This book is actually really fantastic. I highly recommend it. It's actually one of the few books that I am considering actually purchasing because the information in there is so spot on. He really helps walk you through every single step, how to figure out what your risk level is, what exactly, like exact investments you actually want to be in, how to set up accounts, how to get that all started. I don't need like all the information that's in there, but there's a good chunk in there that's really making me question whether or not what I'm currently invested in is really the right allocation and options for me. So I really recommend that book. I'm not quite done with it yet, but I do think I'm actually going to purchase a copy of it. I feel like I need to read it over again and just pick out some of the really key information pieces, but definitely one to check out if you're getting started, or even if you're a few years in and you're not really sure if the way that you have your investments laid out and what your allocation is and risk level is really suited to your long-term goals. I think this book will help you figure that out. So after reading a lot of this book, it mainly talks about ETF investing, and what I have right now is the TDE series line, which are, I don't know if they're like technically mutual funds, but they're traded that way, so I can just put like as much money as I want at any point in time. There's no trading fees. They're not traded on the stock exchange the way that an ETF is. So I'm not really sure, like I haven't gone on a deep dive on exactly what I should be investing in. What I did was I went to the Canadian Couch Potato website probably 2 years ago now, went through his model portfolios, and then I just picked the TDE series line because TD is where I already bank. I have all my mortgages and loans and everything with them. So it was just the easy route. And now that I'm a little bit past that stage, I definitely want to learn more and figure out if what I'm invested in, which is the two TDE series, one is the US index fund, the other is the Canadian one, and I have a 50-50 split. I know that he does recommend that you have like a portion of your portfolio in bonds, but because I'm doing the Coast Fire lifestyle and I'm not planning on retirement, probably not before 65, I don't really see a reason for me to be in bonds for the next, like, let's say 10 years. And I do feel comfortable with that risk level of being like 100% into the market and not into bonds at all. But this is a really good book, so I really recommend it, and I'm highly considering looking at ETFs and seeing if maybe that's how I want to switch my portfolio. If I do end up doing that, I'll do a whole video on it because it is a little bit different than what I've done in the past, and I think it'd be fun to just go through it, learn it. And if you guys are invested in ETFs and you're in Canada, leave me a comment down below. Let me know how you got started, how it's going, if it's as complicated as it really seems it is, because I know there are like trading fees and you have to time it based on like when the markets are open. And it's just a little bit different than the TDE series line I've been doing. So definitely let me know if you guys invest that way. The third thing I wanted to chat about is New Zealand. Just an update on that. I am considering going this winter instead of next summer. So the visa expires July 2023, and I kind of would like to skip a winter. I think it would be nice to leave Calgary or Canada in our winter and then go down to New Zealand when it's their summer, or a shoulder season, like maybe later in the fall or spring or something like that. So I am definitely considering going in maybe November, December now, and it depends on when my mom's property sells. And sorry, I shouldn't call it my mom's property because it's my property, she just lives there. But it depends heavily on if my second property sells, if I can get into that equity, because at this point in time, I'm not really making a ton of money. I'm not saving a bunch because of the work that I do. I'm just breaking even. So there's no real reason for me to stay here. I'm kind of antsy, like I want to get going. I want to move there and just get settled down. So once I sell my car and my mom's place, I'll have a better idea of what my plan looks like, but I will be doing a video about New Zealand and everything. Once I get it all booked, I'll go through the costs and all of that. I hope you guys enjoyed this net worth update video for August 2022. Leave me a comment down below about how your journey is going and how your August was in terms of net worth, and consider subscribing if you want to see more of this kind of content. So thanks so much, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.